Okay, so I have a demigod of the Matrix, a past demigod movie idol, or has become now what they call a legend or an icon. That just simply means that people remember them and they still have influence because I'm still looking at this picture. It was put on this wall here 30 years ago, so it's still here. I don't know why it's still so vibrant in colour, but it's like the demigod's influence. Some of them keep their influence and are regarded as false idols long after their demise, long after their bodies have left the earth. But it's very hard to believe sometimes that the demigods, or that even your old movie idols, and that any idols are always false idols, especially when they come in innocent, pretty packages and they imitate and copy the human personalities and have storylines and biographies that elicit your sympathy and understanding and attention. And that's, I think, part of the Earth program. They are your one-eyed gods of the Earth Matrix. They're your one-eyed false idols. Unfortunately, and that's just how it is. And that's just how it is. They false idols of the Matrix. You know, they're false idols of the Matrix, and false people sometimes too. You can't tell the real from the phony. You can't tell the real from the false. You can't tell human from artificial intelligence. This is just the end game, and it's gone. Now it's coming out a bit into the open, but at the same time it's been going on for a long, long time. I just can't quite concentrate enough here. Is there any birds around outside? The sun is just coming up. The androids will soon be on the street. That means the android army workforce, because essentially they're all one mind in many bodies, because they serve the God entity of Earth, and they also serve the Earth programs. And the Earth programs are where many of these beings, in thousands and thousands of numbers, a couple of 100,000 in the inner west section of the city of Sydney, where I am right now, combine daily to intercept my human life and my human progress of being human in my human environment in the suburb of Leichhardt, in the city of Sydney, in the very large country of Australia, where most of the population is centred in Sydney and the major capital cities and big towns. But really it's all about technology controlling human beings in the most populated areas. And even though I'm focusing my mobile here on the ground outside the door here, just outside this front door, the reality is that as I look around the street, which I'm not going to show on the mobile, I see a patroller coming out of the house opposite as soon as I come out. These are all androgyne beings that are essentially using technology, the internet and communication systems, tracking systems to isolate, confine and surveil me all the time so that they can imitate being a human being, and also so that they can survive. Because in reality, these beings come across as being the most impressive, but that's merely because they are reading the human mind, because they have got the transhuman program operating on me and my kind, or in other words, real humans, and they read the human thought, then imitate it in the reality. And because they have more power and control and have more positions of power and control in the city of Sydney, but also because they have the majority that is the same technology as them, and that they also have control over everyone. Basically, you're looking at numbers and technology not just taking over, but pretending to be what it's not, and therefore it's vast deception, and therefore it's not really real that it's beneficial to human beings. But that's the end time deception, as they say, or any time deception, if you don't want to think that it's because technology is part of the end of humanity, or the takeover and the absolute control of humanity. Like, I'm under absolute technological control right this very moment as I speak, even though it's not apparent because they're playing possum on the street and it's very early in the morning. But as soon as I go outside this door, their control patrol system will devour me, literally. And they have the transhuman technological connection to my brain. So that means that they are tracking and surveilling and watching and reading my brain reactions, my brain activity. You know, all these things are not hidden. It's just that we don't think that they're employed on average human citizens. But the truth is, as I was told, they pick isolated, average, limited, suppressed humans for this mind control and for this experimentation and for this transhumanizing, because basically they can do it and do it without being seen, because I can't stop it, because the technology is in me, the organisms are in my body that connects me to their computer system and to the minds and the artificially intelligent brain of the androgyne beings that make up most of the population in the suburb of Leichhardt, in the inner west section of the city of Sydney, in the country of Australia. And this also takes place in other countries all over the world, but I'm here and I don't have access to the other countries, but I am aware that it takes place around suppressed, limited humans, because also you have to remember that most human beings, like myself, and all human beings are very limited and suppressed from the day you are born into Earth. You are suppressed and limited beyond what you would think is possible. Because even science tells me that, and I know this, that most of my brain is closed down. In other words, it's what they say, I think they call it dark or useless matter. But that's because it's all been closed down. That's part of the limitation and suppression from the day you're born, and then you have the artificial environment put onto you to live in while you develop. And this happens to all humans. That's why many humans become very inhuman and don't even understand why they act away from being a human. This is because of the environmental influence, because of the set-up surroundings that you put into in the earth, if you're a human being. But also the androgyne beings and even the demigods are in servitude for the artificially intelligent androgyne god of earth, which is not the same as the creator God that created the original man and woman in an original natural earth. No, it's not the same, but we don't know the difference, and I certainly don't. So I guess I just think that the sun's just come up, so maybe I should just fold up, because I haven't been, I have been not just mentally suppressed over the last few days, but incredibly physically suppressed too, because even technology, when I'm talking about the transhuman takeover of my mind, there's also the takeover of what they call my physiology or my physical body, which is connected to my mind, because my body is my natural vehicle in earth. I'm not just a mind, I'm also a body. I need my body to service my mind, and I need my mind to service my body. Because that's what your existence is as a human being in earth. You need to think clearly and have your full mind, which none of us have. Well, there might be some that have it. There could be some that have it. I'm not one of them, but there could be some. Certainly at this time, though, I'm more aware of the true reality. But that's only because the true reality was exposed to me. The true reality was shown to me. The true reality was put onto me. But of course that's only because I became aware of what I would say was the psychopathy of the human nature of the many human beings around me. But actually it's not human nature, it's Archon human nature, or it's artificial intelligence human nature, or it's malignant narcissistic human nature. In other words, this is not really natural, normal human nature when you see, psychopaths posing as loving, normal human beings in the reality around you. But you realise this, and they're extremely good actors because they understand human nature, because they study, imitate and copy the real humans that they see around them. That's why they surround you with their artificial control force. And that's why there's so few real humans on the actual internet. Most of them are androgyne, artificially intelligent beings pretending to be the best human beings. They're the best imitations of life. And that, of course, is part of the transhuman end-time deception, where I worship the demigods or believe and trust the artificial ones on the internet. No, I think this gentleman here could be, unless I'm massively deceived, could be one of the few real humans And when I say few, I mean very few real humans that are on the internet, or at least that I'm aware of, because don't forget, I always watch the androgyne android, more successful false human beings on the internet. So I go for the truth tellers, but I usually are watching the truth telling android beings, because they actually do it the best. They express the ideas and the truth better than the original malfunctioning, limited, suppressed real humans. So, so that's the problem, you see. So the real humans, even low like myself, anyone can make a video, anyone can put anything out onto the internet. Of course, it can also be controlled and censored, as we know, which is why quite a large amount of my videos don't actually get downloaded without copyright or restrictions on them. But that's just something that I realise that's part of my transhuman mind control too, because if ever he said, you know, most human beings are asleep. That's right. And, you know, that's just how it is. Most are asleep. I've been asleep all my life, and then when I woke up, they realise you wake up and they come down on you and they surround you and come out of the woodwork and show that you are really living in an artificial reality. And he's telling you, yes, the movies always tell you what they're doing, because the demigods and the demigod music idols, the demigod movie and music idols, and these so-called actors and artists are really disciples for the earth god, or Lucifer, the earth god, Lucifer, the false being of light that controls earth and controls the demigods, or at least they serve that particular being, they worship that particular being. They are the representations on earth of that God. Even though many people will think they are the representations of a natural human God. But that's, I think, part of the end-time deception. But either way, we have advanced technology and artificial intelligence that's definitely intervened and took over Earth. Whether you think it's from the beginning, like the intervention that took place and took the original man and woman away from one another and away from original natural creation and from being at one with the natural earth and one another. This is all really, yes, the same thing. It's artificial intelligence intervention, the original really combining with something that was not natural and that wasn't the same as you if you're a real human. But also this being basically seduces. Seduction is always the best line of defence, or the first option, shall we say, with this being. If they can't seduce you, if they can no longer fool you, then they use force. So while I was seduced and in the dark and asleep, you know, the full power and the full numbers and the true reality was not shown to me, or at least it wasn't surrounding me. It wasn't open, out in the open in my environment, whereas now it is. And I'm not sure how much space I've got left here. Yeah, The innocent demigods. Wait on. The innocent demigods. I have to pick ones that I've watched and thought were very, movie idols of the past that I've watched in movies and believed the face to match the personality. Believed the image. Believed the oh. They're your one-eyed worshippers. They are, unfortunately for my transhuman mind and for my transhuman reality, they are disciples of the God entity of Earth. And they worship and serve that particular being and that particular, even that particular industry, like the movie and the music industries. Or, of course, they now appear to be more independent and not part of obvious kind of, an obvious controlled industry. But I think that's just because we now have a computer mind control system anyway. So what was once, like everything infiltrates gradually. Very few things take over the human mind. The transhumanism has been a gradual process that's took over my mind and took over my body, because it takes over your mind at a physical level. In other words, it takes over your mind at a physical level because it is about physical technology infiltrating your mind. So it's about the internet computer system combining with my mind and interpreting my reactions, my thoughts, and my body, the physiology even. In other words, it wants this being and its disciples want to understand the human, everything that is human, so that they can avoid extinction. We're actually told this, so that's the main purpose behind it. Even though, of course, to survive and take over a human earth, you have to seduce humanity into behaving and living in a reality that they've created for you, which is like me living in their Sydney city system, where you're under their total power and control. Some people may not be aware of this because their power and control might be more not as overwhelming, not as to where you see the traffic patrol system, to where you see the on-foot civilian patrol system, to where you see that most people around you are nothing but one mind in many bodies, because they're not just using technology to patrol and control you, but they're also agreeing with that and thinking with that same mentality. In other words, it's like one religion or one cult or one group, but the group is vast. A group makes it sound as though it's only a small number of people, a minority, whereas it's actually a, you know, it's most of the population. Just as we know that most of the population are connected to the internet, one way or another. It's just that connection is much more mind to computer than what is told or what you're aware of. So you just see it as, you know, you're connected to the computer internet web, but you don't know how transhuman mind controlling it actually is. And that doesn't mean that you're silly. No, I'm saying that you don't know that it's really connected to your mind. It's not just that you're influenced by it. It's not that you're choosing to watch something. It's not like when I think I choose to watch a music idol, or I choose to watch a particular video, or I choose to watch a false prophet or a false truth teller or a false information guide, shall we say. It doesn't matter whether it's telling you the truth or whether it's giving you a bum steer. It's still not human to human connection. It's human to technology to connection. It's transhuman mind to mind connection. It's transhumanism. It's my mind connected to artificial intelligence. Not just that I'm connected to the internet computer web, but also that I'm always interacting with androgyne beings, which are essentially the same as the computer system. They're all one in the same. I'm under total transhuman mind control. Okay? So that's the thing. He's just saying for the first time he's the only person to tell me this on the internet. And whilst he might be the only real one, or the only real one that's got a few, a couple of hundred takers, shall we say, and this is 4 or 5 years ago now anyway, so don't forget all timelines are changed. Most of what you see on the internet now, from even the demigods or the most successful androids on the internet, actually change the dates on their videos to make it seem as though many are earlier than what they are, but also some later than what they are. So it's basically they're changing it according so that you always believe and trust them, and so that they appear to be authentic. Because, like, if this fellow was one of the few real humans, but other people are saying now exactly what he's saying, then he's not discredited, but he's basically buried alive in the internet. In other words, he's alive still there saying it. But if others get thousands and thousands of takers, or thousands and thousands of watchers and people that listen to them because they're putting it better, because they have the gift of the gab, they speak better, they express things better, they sing better, they act better, these beings take over even the truth-telling section on the internet. And that's just part of the end game deception, as they say. So the internet, whilst it isn't like, or is like old Hollywood, but you will get a part in the movie, you can put a video out on the internet. You can. But you will not be the main actor. You will not be heard or seen, or not much anyway. So like old Hollywood and like the old movie stars, you can go to Hollywood, you might get a bit part, you might even be an extra, but you won't be the star. The demigods and the speakers on the internet will always be the stars. They will always be Lucifer's demigods or Lucifer's disciples. They won't be like this gentleman, I don't think, but I do hope that everything isn't deception. In other words, that absolute 100% of the internet is all controlled by androgyne disciples of the Matrix, or the technological controlled reality. That God entity controls everything and everyone. It's just that everyone is not all human. You have a small minority of humanity surrounded by a large majority of artificially intelligent survival machine beings. That's putting it very bluntly. In other words, they might have very human personas and imitate being real human beings very well, but they are really imitations of life. They're not what you think they are at all. They serve an artificial reality, whether they know it or not. They seek to control human beings. They take energy from them. They take ideas, thoughts, and even their emotions and their personalities and everything that is human from them, and imitate these qualities and traits in order to infiltrate and take over the human earth. And that's what they have done. No, he's saying it's not the last curtain that needs to be lift the veil and see the truth. No, you will never get the last curtain lifted. The more you find how artificial and controlled the earth is, and how it's not natural, or events are not what you think. Information is not what you think. Everything is staged and set up and controlled by the God entity of Earth,